We're here at Springy Performance Dyno for a private dyno night. We've only got a dozen or so cars, but we've got some 4-cylinder front-wheel drives, some all-wheel drives, some 6-cylinder, some V8s, a bit of everything. It's not about who makes the most power. We just want, it's more about just getting the car community together. We hope this will be the first of many dyno nights that fullBOOST covers here at Springy. This is what happens when you put a Barra in your VL. First up on the dyno is Joe's Wild XR8. He took me for a ride in this earlier. It's really unique. It's got a supercharged Whipple, Boss 5.4 litre. It's got a Modena sequential gearbox. It's a manual. Hey, look at this. Have a look at this. So you were saying earlier you bought this, it was a year old, yeah?
I bought this a year old stock standard. The first mod I done was the bumper grille. And when I done that, I was hooked.
Yeah, hooked. Well, this is a bit more than a mod to the bumper grille,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, mate. It's gone, you know how builds go.
Yeah, yeah.
You start off with a little headlight thing or whatever, and it just progresses to something slightly out of control.
So this is a 5.4 like the factory engine,
yeah,
but it's not the factory engine.
No, this is actually Ford Racing in America make a prepped up drag car on the showroom floor.
The Cobra Jet.
Super Cobra Jet. And that's the actual engine out of the 2010 model.
Okay.
5.4 litre.
It's the big blower. Exceptionally clean engine bay, Joe.
Oh, I haven't got a social life, mate.
Yeah. Now, Springy's done all of the work on this?
Performance has done everything from Peter putting the engine in, all the stuff he had to do to the K-frame, the fuel system, which was a monumental effort. It's actually got 3 Bosch pumps internally, feeding a 6-litre surge tank, and another 3 Bosch pumps out of that, feeding the engine. So when you put your foot down, it just sucks it. It just loves the 85, yeah. You
took me for a little spin before. She's pretty spicy, but the big thing that you can't really tell from here, this is a manual and not just any manual.
This is a Modena sequential 6-speed gearbox. It runs a Tilton 4-plate carbon clutch.
Okay.
Full Motec. Daniel Pirotta and little Daniel wired it all up. From putting the Motec in compared to the factory ECU, it just basically woke this thing up.
Yeah.
It's like so. Like I took it for a drive, and
it wants to be driven. Like you got to be. Like, what's the right word? You got to know what you want to do.
Yeah. If you got it in the wrong gear at the wrong time, it's violent. As you witnessed. Roundabouts you don't do in first gear. You got to.
You can't get on and off. It wants to be driven with a bit of positivity, I guess is the right word.
You can't stab the throttle because it's instant.
Just even without the blower, right? Just putting a sequential in any car just makes it more aggressive.
Yeah,
and then you add the blower, and
it's got an ignition cut, so you can change through the gears without clutch. It's a joy to drive.
Is there anything else you want to do, or do you that's it?
That's it.
For now.
I was thinking of diff, but no one does 9-inch diffs, and it costs you an absolute fortune. It's already broken a true track. It'll eventually break another one.
Well done on a killer build, because I've never seen anything like this in terms of XR8.
Like I mentioned to you before, I'm not too sure how many of these engines are in Australia, but when we actually bought it from Herod, there was only this one and another one in Western Australia. So my wallet didn't like it, but anyways, that's
well
it,
done.
mate.
We'll give it a run up and listen to it. These are awesome sounding engines. Next up on the dyno is Europa's Galant, is it VR4?
Yeah, VR4.
Now, being a Galant lover, you must know Baz, yeah?
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Baz is the man when it comes to Galants. Now, tell us a little bit about your one.
Forged pistons, done a bit of work to it.
Yeah.
He's running the FP0.
Oh, yeah. Popular turbo.
Yeah.
Now, these are pretty popular back in your hometown, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Have you run it before on the dyno?
Yep, a few times. Last week I got 300.
Yeah, wow.
So 300.
Okay. So you've got a computer system on it?
Yep, I got the Haltech 2500.
What about the driveline? Have you done anything else to it? Gearbox or?
Baz upgraded the gearbox transfer case. It's got the Ospec.
Oh, yeah.
Ospec gearbox and Ospec transfer case.
It's got the coil on plug conversion. Super nice.
Sleeper, man.
It looks like, I was going to say, it looks fairly stock on the
Yeah.
outside. You wouldn't really pick it. So out of all the early 4G motors, this is the 6-bolt motor. Now, these were the strongest ones, really, out of the factory, weren't they?
Yeah.
We're here with Matt from Elite Brake and Mechanical. Something a bit different is this wide body focus. Now, I heard you guys specialise in these, yeah?
Yeah, so it's been a while. We've been looking after these sort of cars for probably about 5-6 years. This is probably one of our more featured builds that we've done. Customer's name is Mervyn.
Yep.
Obviously, sort of speaks for itself with the wide body. Does have a full built motor, so mount trim sleeve block, obviously forged rods, pistons. Put Piper cams in it. It's also hooked up to water meth as well. Coilovers, SSR wheels. So
looks like you got some ETS gear on there.
yeah, intercooler, intake.
Big
So
intercooler.
all your standard like sort of bolt-ons, intake, intercooler, dump pipe, and what have you. Full exhaust.
What turbos on this then?
So mount trim do a MXR,
Yeah.
which is their version of basically it's similar to a Garrett.
Yeah.
Makes it around 300.
300. So you generally do these, just run these in front wheel drive, don't you, on the dyno?
Yes, so they have like, easiest way to explain it is like an adaptive sort of all-wheel drive system.
They
so
don't
it's
really
like
have a
torque
conventional
dependent.
diff, do they, in the back?
No, so it's all electronically controlled and it's all torque dependent.
Yeah.
So on a roller like this, the dyno fights the car, so you've got to run them up in full drive. So we use the Cobb handsets, which has a dyno mode in it, which disengages the rear diff. Drivetrain loss is minimal because it still runs all the way through the transfer, all the way through to the diff, but it just doesn't then run out to the actual shaft. So yeah, we've just finished this one. So finished the dyno on this on Saturday last week.
Okay. Yeah, that intake pipe's pretty large.
Right, so there's an ETS intake kit on it, but it didn't quite fit up with the turbo, so we had to get that. Elijah, who used to work down here, actually done that for us. So put the ProMeth injection kit on it. Spent some good money.
So
on
do you just run this on 98?
This is on a E30 blend with water meth. We're waiting on a bigger set of injectors to come for it. They're on back order, and we wanted to get it ready to get it back to him. So we're running E30 blend because about 96% duty on the injectors. So when the bigger injectors come, we should get closer to 400, maybe 360, 380, somewhere around there. And then it'll be able to go straight to a full E85.
What can you get out of it, like a stock turbo on one of these?
I've seen
as like a
stocks
budget
sort of like
sort
260, 280.
Yeah, okay.
But the motor is the limiting
Is the
factor.
limiting factor, oh.
Yeah, Ford actually released a bulletin saying that like the motor is on its limits from factory. So
I don't know. I saw some stuff on the internet. People were saying these were maybe having a cylinder lifting a head gasket. Is that?
yeah, so there was a recall out for the head gasket. But the main thing that I found is they crack the block or they actually warp the cylinders. Most of them actually
They're
just...
like an open deck.
Yeah, so they're full open deck. So this is the first time we've used the mount trim block with the sleeves and they've got like a brace in the top. Normally we use the ST block, so from the 2 litre, and then we put the 2.3 litre crank in, basically stroke that block and then do it. So it'll be interesting to see this. The mount trim shop cars in the world, it's the 4th fastest quarter mile time, which is like a 10.2, I think. So this is pretty much almost, once it gets to the injectors, it'll pretty much be identical to that.
It's got everything, all the good gear on it.
Yeah. And pretty much just click add to cart on Mount Trim's website and send it to me. So
Now tonight's pretty special for you, Justin.
Sure is.
Your car was in this magazine, what, 10 years ago? I used to write for this magazine. This is how
Wow.
long time ago.
Just shows you how
Yeah.
time moves on. But yeah, 10 years ago to the day, this car that I used to own was actually built and tuned here at Springy Motors.
Yep.
And Danny, the tuner, helped me tune the car, and Pete and little Dan was the one that built the engine, and it was fully built.
It's a nice Subaru.
Yeah, it was a clean look. As you know, I've gone for that OEM plus look.
Yeah.
That's always been my vibe. I don't want to be too out there. On E85, it was fuel pump limited, and I think it ended up doing about 275 at the wheels. And at that time, 10 years ago,
That would have been a nice motor car.
good power.
Yeah.
So, but it only took 4 engine rebuilds to get there,
Subaru life.
as you do, more car loans than brains. But yeah, I got there, and I really enjoyed it. I miss it.
It's easy to say that once you sell these cars, isn't it?
It does. But
But now you've come to your senses and you've bought something more reliable, yeah?
yes, a little bit more reliable and a bit more, a bit of a different manufacturer. But now I've got the RS3 and
Similar sized car, really.
compact sedan.
Love the colour. This factory grey is. Sets
So
it
it's
off
a
well.
Daytona grey by factory.
So what have you done to this one? You've done a few little cosmetic
So
touches.
it's just full on bolt-on mods. It's got your cosmetic body kit on it, a few brake mods.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Yeah, it's got minor suspension mods as well, but more of the mods is heavily on the engine.
Yeah, similar to the Subaru where you like that, like you just said, an
OEM plus. I just
yeah.
wanted that look that looks clean.
So what's the main thing they do on this? Obviously a tune. What you've done.
Normally downpipes, tune, intake.
The Euros love talking in their stages, don't they?
They do. I was just talking to one of the guys before, and it just seems like that's just how people get it. So that's the package that's off the shelf.
Is this what you'd call stage 2?
Yeah, I call it a stage 2 plus.
Yeah.
Going to a stage 3, you have to start doing turbos. And stuff like that, and that you start compromising transmission.
So this is sort of as far as what you'd go with a stock turbo system?
Correct, yeah, and because she's my daily, I wanted something reliable, as you said. And she's been really reliable. I've had it for about 2 years now, and
fantastic
she's
sounding
done great.
engines, aren't they?
They are a very unique engine, and I think that's what brings me to this car was the sound of it. So
this is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the 7-speed in this?
This is the 7-speed,
Yep.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What are you expecting this to make? You've had it on the dyno before?
I've had it on the dyno before. I think it made just under 300.
Yep.
So look, I'd be happy 280, 300.
Yeah.
But as you know, today is not about
No.
dyno numbers. It's about having community and seeing people and seeing old friends and paying tribute to Danny. So
I think unfortunately with the internet, people lose sight of actually seeing people, don't they?
yes.
It's all online. We need more events like this, and hopefully we'll be doing a lot more. Were you smart enough back in the day to buy like 10 copies of this, or what? Is this your only one?
This is the only copy that I got, unfortunately. So yeah, but you're right. In a couple of years' time, or even now, they'd probably be worth a bit of coin now.
Hard to find these now.
Yeah, and that's when we were top of the game, as you know, with the car market.
Yeah, I know.
So
You forget how cool it was back then.
yep.
All right.
Yes.
I'll give that back to you before
Thank
I
you.
drop it.
No problem.
Get this on the dyno. This is your brother-in-law's car, mate?
Yeah, my brother-in-law Zane's car.
Yeah, and I heard
it's
run a 10.7, is that right?
It's run a 1075 at 131 at
nice.
Heathcote.
At Heathcote, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in just about every Japanese car ever built, except for an R35. I don't know how that's possible, because they've only been out for, what, 13 years?
13 years.
13 years. It wouldn't have that much done to it, would it? These are pretty stout standard, aren't they?
Yeah, they'll run low 11s standard.
Yep.
So basically downpipe, mid-pipe, intake, injectors, E85 tune, in the 10s.
Easy. Is it factory interior, that colour, or?
Yeah, factory
it is?
interior.
Wow.
That's a wrap. The actual car is black.
You remember the first TT that came out? It just looked like a Volkswagen Beetle, stretched a bit, and it had a real nugget engine in it, didn't it?
Yeah, really crap. I only bought this car because of the Daza 5-cylinder. Yeah. It's a great engine.
So it's essentially an RS3, isn't it, underneath?
Drivetrain, yeah. identical to an RS3.
And you said this is run 10 full?
1049 at 133.
So this is bolt-ons with a factory turbo?
Yep, factory turbo, factory transmission, just bolt-ons.
The Euro lads out there, this is stage 2.1?
Two. Stage 2 E85, yeah.
The E85 fixes everything.
Yeah, I've run like 0 to 100 in like 2.7 seconds.
It's crazy.
Yeah. On Michelin PS4 60 foot of 1.68.
Wow, on the road. That's nuts. Waffy, the colour of this car is unreal. It's clearly not a factory colour, is it?
No, not a factory colour. It's been wrapped by Nathan at Showman Auto Styling in the West. So it's got a metallic midnight green wrap on it with some accents of black, gloss black, PPF.
I personally don't think the Supra ever looks as good in photos as it does in real life. This shape.
Yeah, it took me a while to get used to it. I was deciding between this or the RS5 or the M2 before I actually bought this.
Very different cars.
Once I bought it, do a bit of cosmetic, you know. Yeah, very different cars as well.
I've driven a couple of them. I quite liked them. And I'm a bit of a manual snob, right? So, but I reckon the auto, I mean, it's fantastic.
Auto is awesome.
Yeah. I can't fault it. But yeah,
but they've got the manual coming out. So.
Yeah, I just saw that, but I still think they'll sell more autos. Oh, they're a really cool car. So what mods have you done? I see this Alpha 8, that's from the States, yeah?
Yeah, AMS. So yeah, after the wrap, I took it over to guys at Elite Euro in the West. We come up with a plan, so basically that the car is streetable and we can take it to the track. We teamed up with AMS, Titan Motorsport, CSF, and it's pretty much got the whole kit.
Okay.
So all the CSF cooling, the intake manifold, all the radiators, coolers, the AMS Alpha 8 kit, bigger turbo running the Garrett GDX 3582 Gen 2.
Is it still an internally stock engine?
Engine stock.
Engine stock, yeah.
Engine's completely stock. And then the basic like HKS exhaust and
so the transmission, it's all standard?
Transmission is standard. We're working with the guys at Titan to send us maybe their pure transmissions.
Okay.
We're not sure what stage we're going to go, depending on how much we're going to push it.
Can you calibrate? Has it had a calibration? The trans, or?
The thing is, we're waiting for XHP to release a tune for it, you know, or to unlock it, but they haven't unlocked it yet.
Okay.
So we're kind of stuck on that sense.
Yep.
So when you start pushing above the 750, 800 torque, these things in the States, they start slipping.
Have you had this on a dyno before?
Yes.
Yeah? What sort of rough power is it? Mate?
So it ran at Rajab Racing. It ran a 480 at the hubs.
Okay, yeah.
And it's running 23 pounds, which is low boost.
Yeah, nice.
No, so the lip was done by the guys at Zero Offset. They've created a lip and they wanted the car to kind of, you know, see the fitment and everything. So they borrowed the car for a few days and fit everything up. It's the only lip kit you'll get through them. It's got their own features through it, you know.
It'd have to be one of the smartest men in Australia. Has not barra swapped his Ford. Left the original single camera in there, hey?
Yeah.
What have you got done to it?
So it's pretty much a stock bottom end. So the rods are older than I am, but it's got new 20 thou oversized pistons. It's got an MLS head gasket, head starters, valve springs, and a crow cam. Had a custom-made manifold done by a fella in Ballarat named Kim Chapman, so he's rigged that all up for me. It's got a 45mm Hypergate with a screamer down the bottom and just a China turbo, and it's also running a BA PCM and loom, so
nice.
helps with the tunability and stuff. And then I've gone the FG coils as well. I mean, it's a bit of a Frankenstein engine,
but it works.
Seems to work. Yeah.
What gearbox you got?
It's got a T56 in it.
Yeah.
It was T5. And then when I went the manifold and the wastegate change, I was like, it's like a toothpick, I guess. Like I only broke 2 on the last tune. It was 360 kilowatts, and now
You're on ethanol, or?
yeah, it's on the 85. Yeah. So it's very basic setup, and see how it goes.
Hang on to this if you can, because these are getting harder and harder to find now.
I mean, one day it'll be cleaned up and nice and everything, but for how long I've had it and like what I've done, everything's just been done at home in the garage.
Is this your first hottie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bought it when I was 18
Yeah.
on my red P's, and then I've had it ever since. So it's been my 5th year, I think, of having the car. I mean, I've thought about going the Barra option, but there's something about this engine that I really like.
There's nothing wrong with these engines. Everyone uses a Barra, and
yeah, it's a little bit pricey.
Yeah.
I think, especially for like the aftermarket parts and stuff, because no one really supports them. But if you ever go somewhere, like you can straight away know if it's, I think, like lumpy cam and everything. You don't really hear Barras with lumpy cams around anymore. Like,
I mean, I know we make a lot of jokes on full boost, but I think these sound better personally.
I like it. Originally it was like a J-pipe setup, so like stock manifold J-pipe, but with this manifold, I think it sounds pretty cool. It's got a few Ks on the body and still presents well for its age, but it is what it is.
What you've had it on the dyno before?
Yeah, it was tuned by Max.
Yeah.
Made 405 kilowatts on their hub dyno, so that was roughly like 16, 17 PSI. That was a couple of months back now, maybe 6 months. And probably done maybe 5,000 Ks since, so it'd be interesting to see what it spits out on a roller. And
You're using PCM Tech or something else?
PCM Tech.
Yeah, that's brilliant software.
Yeah.
Just when you thought we were going to have a Barra-free dyno day, up comes a VL, yeah? It's a pretty neat looking RB40 you got there.
Thanks, buddy.
This was built by Springy, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
All in-house.
Beautiful. I like how you've done the intercooler piping. It's a bit different to some of the other VLs I've seen with Barras.
Yeah, I didn't want to drill anything,
Cut it all up.
cut nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up deciding to put it around, and luckily it filled 3.5 inch everywhere.
Yeah. Normally you see them run straight through there.
Yeah.
You've been building this for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, 2 years it took.
What is that? Is that a G series?
It's a G42 1450. Yeah.
Very nice turbo. What engine management have you got on this?
A Link.
Oh yeah.
Link ECU, yeah.
Am I right? This makes about 800 kilowatts. Well, it has made. I should say.
840 or something like that. Yeah.
On this dyno?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So hopefully it makes the same power.
What gearbox have you got in it?
Power Glide.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you got a rear end in it, or still
Nah,
the Borg Warner?
so that's still a Borg Warner at the back. Next month actually it's got to go for a 9-inch.
Yeah.
So once I put that on, maybe go take it to the track. You know?
This is a pretty lethal street car.
Yeah, well, that was the plan of it.
You go for a ride in a much heavier XR6 and they're extremely fast with this sort of power. So in this thing, it's kind of unusable, yeah?
Look, I haven't really trashed it much because you really can't put a big tyre on the back.
No.
So it's like, even if you have a 255 on it, it's like a street tyre on
It
that.
is,
you know what I mean?
it is, yeah. Been, I don't know, I've probably recorded 1,000 dyno pulls at least. I've heard about this happening, but I've never seen it. One, let alone 2 tyres blow up on one part.
That was a full send-it.
You know, as it was loading up, I looked at the tyre and I saw the wall there where you were standing, and I actually stood, because I thought, I reckon the tyre's gonna pop. It didn't look right. This is what happens when you put a Barra in your VL. I was actually ramping up to make some pretty good power. This car's made 840 kilowatts before on this dyno.
We've got a trophy. It's been signed by Leah, Springy Performance Dyno.
and also Luke from fullBOOST for this March 2022. Our first dyno night. It's a People's Choice Trophy, so it's not about who's got the most power or whatnot. It's whoever, I guess, we appreciated the most coming here and putting on a show. So I'm gonna tally up the votes. I've got the Supra, vote number 1.
Is the VR4 in the lead, Baz?
Woo! You land in the lead, why? I don't know.
Did you vote like 8 times, Baz?
I haven't voted yet. XR8, I like that spelling. Whoever spelled that, Supra. S-O-U-P-R-A. That's nice. Last vote is the XR8. So we've got a tie?
Yeah.
We've got a tie. I've got 2 trophies. I'll give you 1 each. So I'll go get another one. We'll do another one for you. I think you both deserve it. Yeah.
Both well deserving.
Good job.
Well, Baz, when you sent me your scheduled timetable, I thought, how many dyno days have you done, Baz? They never run to plan. But anyway, it's been a really good night.
Yeah, I've actually done a few, but I've never stayed to then, and Leah can vouch for that. I'll be, here you go, Leah, you've got 30 cars, here's the list. I gotta go, I'm hungry. And that's how I always operated. And I think you guys all were like, we're the X-Baz. But
no, it's been a good night. I wanted to thank you for organising. You did pretty much everything. We just turned up to film, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully we do a bunch more of these. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, and thank you guys, fullBOOST, for coming in and supporting us and filming and capturing these moments for the participants. You know, they were rapt to have you here.
Yeah, it was a good night.
And Leah, the family, we've got Dan, we've got the crew, or the Springy crew. Although Springy Motors or Springy Performance has sort of changed due to the unforeseen loss of Dan, I think his memory still lives on, and I think we can continue the dream of his vision of growing his business and giving the community the opportunity to build fast cars and have some fun and drive hard.
He was telling me that you should build an all-wheel drive Honda Civic. Yeah. Turbo.
Have you seen what he drives? Am I allowed to say on this what I really think?
Yeah, you can.
It's a bucket of shit. All jokes aside, I've been involved in the family for about 14 years. And I've been retired for 6, but I keep on coming back only because of the way they operate. They're very all close-knit. If you ever got any issues, you can ring up any time. When Big Dan was here, nothing was a problem. He'd say, look, bring it in or whatever, we'll sort it out. But everybody here was just like just one complete family. And that's why I keep on coming back. So that's...
Now we can't get rid of him.
Huh?
Now we can't get rid of you.
Yeah, now they can't get rid of me. So actually, when I pass on, which isn't too far away, I'm going to see that corner over there with that dark spot. And Joe used to be a coffin builder, the one with the BF Ford.
Yeah.
He's already got one made for me. Yeah. So I sleep in that of a night time, so I'm ready. But they don't have to dress me up or anything. I'm in the box ready, and then they can just... So how's that?
Put you in the corner. This is not your average 2K barrow, is it, Joe?
No.
Next onto the dyno is Europa's. Let me start that again. I had a brain fade. So where are you from?
Elite Brake Mechanical.
Elite Brake and Mechanical?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So you need a cue card, mate. Here, I've got you.
Right. You all right? As long as it's clear audio, it's fine. You got audio test on Justin?
Test.
This old Japanese pointer doesn't suit an R35. It's got to go onto the EK Civic, yeah? I'll let you do it. Waffy, the paint. Well, what am I talking about? Barry loves his powder coat.
He does. Hold hands, guys.